But no, I got to tell you, one of the things that makes me most excited when I drive around Buckhead, around Atlanta, is all these Ansley Atlanta signs going up every day. I've known you since before you started this company, and it just seems like explosive growth. You are disrupting real estate for homes over $1 million in Atlanta. What are you doing?
Mo, we've got a great group of folks. It starts with the overall experience, right? The experience as an agent first at Ansley Atlanta, and you come into the office and there's just a great vibe. The vibe is contagious, and
I felt it the other week when I was there.
Yeah.
Like, it's electric.
And people take that energy, it goes to the marketing folks, and everybody collaborates and wants to do the best with their clients and with their houses. And,
right.
And when the agents leave the office, that vibe and that energy carries with them. And we've been able, in less than 3 years, to be the #1 office in Atlanta for homes sold over $1 million. And that's extraordinary. And that's with about a third of the agents of the other companies.
Well, I experienced it at a client myself, and it was high touch, and I felt like people cared, and everything was just over the top. But how in the world did you go from starting it to be #1 at that level in a city the size of Atlanta in 3 years?
Well, we never want to be the biggest office. We're like Goldman Sachs. Goldman Sachs is a very, very high touch. It's a customer service oriented business, and we want to provide the absolute best experience for our clients and for our agents, right? If the agents are happy,
right,
they're going to carry that on to their business. They've got a home life and they've got a work life. Mm-hmm. We're providing that work-life environment for them where they want to come into the office and they want to be there and get better. We have more high producers than any other office around. And if you're around people that achieve at a high level, mm-hmm. that rubs off. And that environment is just a really healthy place to work.
Oh yeah. Well, and I felt it when I was there, and I know so many of your people. One thing I think that's really different about Ansley Atlanta is that you don't have any jerks. Right. Like somehow you're balancing these high producing individuals so that the money's coming in, but the service is there too.
Mo, it's an invitation only to join Ansley Atlanta. We have turned away more folks, no matter what their volume is, than the people that we've hired, and that goes back to being around folks that generally feel the same way that you do about servicing their clients. Mm-hmm. That's the big thing. We're not about the numbers, and in some companies, it's how many people can we get, how many agents can we have in the office, because that's their revenue model, right? Mm-hmm. They pay a desk fee or whatever else. That is the total opposite of what we do. Mm-hmm. We want to provide the agent with a better toolbox so they can go out and work within their strengths as an agent, mm-hmm. and then we can backfill the office side of it so they can be more profitable. It's not about a desk fee for us. It's about providing someone with the tools so they can be wildly successful, and it's worked. We've got agents that before us were doing $4 million of volume. The next year with us, they're doing $16 and $17 million worth of volume. That goes on. There's stories like that go on and on throughout our office.
Well, I remember like one time you called me and said, "Man, Mo, I'm so excited. I hired such and such. This person's the best of the best at providing support to agents. They do this or they do that."
Sure.
So it seems like you don't just bring in the best agents, but your support team is different.
Well, we have the largest kind of staff to agent ratio. Mo, you know me, and you know that I'm good at some things and I'm not good at a lot of other things.
We've talked a lot about that.
Well, yeah, and that completes the whole package, right?
Yeah.
So agents are a specific person, right? There's some of them don't fit in the corporate mold,
right.
And I'm able to take that agent, because I am that agent, and
right.
be able to backfill that agent with
right.
better support so they can be more profitable and do things that they do well.
Right.
And that's interacting with people, and that is a huge, huge advantage.
But no, I got to ask this, because I was in the office a week or two ago. We were working with the team, and one of the things I noticed was just this incredible vibe. Part of it was the people, part of it was the space itself.
The music going.
The music,
walk in.
Yeah. I mean, I just felt at home right away. I didn't want to leave.
That's the environment that we've created. I mean, when we started the business, we had no rules or set structure that we had to do. I mean, we've got a chief people officer and we've got a chief motivating officer. The chief people officer is there to maintain our culture. Our culture is everything. It's everything, and every reason why people come to have us is their work family.
Well, you stop for a minute. Go deeper on the culture. What is it? What do you want people to exemplify?
Well, as I mentioned earlier, our culture is one where it's not all about Ansley and making money, right? It's all about giving back. It's like with our partnership with CHOA, Children's Healthcare of Atlanta. We give a portion of every sale as a company to Children's Healthcare, and so do the agents, right? So that's just kind of one part of it. The second part of it is, people want to help each other and talk about best practices. It's a collaborative arrangement of high producing agents, right? That want to share best practices. So, this person can pick up something and this person can pick up something to all be better under that Ansley brand. And that's really been so rewarding for me, because I love teaching, I love mentoring, I love helping agents get to their full potential. I tell a lot of people that you've got to get uncomfortable to be able to do that. Some of our agents come to us that have been doing $10 or $15 million a year, and they've been doing that for the last 2 or 3 years. And we say, well, look, well, that's great, but if you don't change something, if you don't get out of your comfort zone, if you don't change your habits and start creating different goals, you're going to still do $10 or $15 million a year. I want to help you kind of break that mold, get uncomfortable, reach for those goals that you might think are unachievable, and let's get there together, right? And we've done that time and time again through our process. And our chief motivating officer, he's also our managing broker, he's a life coach. He helps those people get there, and so do I. That's my favorite thing to do, is taking somebody that's been stagnant for so long and really doubling their business and getting their business to the next level.
What I love about that is, like, we all hit plateaus all the time. So some folks can hit a plateau at a very high level, but then it becomes stale after a while, and they can join a group like you and then get, have interactions with you, chief motivating officer, things like that, to help them understand they can do even more.
You also get in a rut too. Even if you're really operating at a high level, let's do something different. Life isn't all about selling real estate, right? And this can be taken in a bunch of different aspects, right? We'll help you with balancing your life.
And the chief motivation officer does that.
And I do that too. I try to operate that from what I do. I mean, I'm home for dinner. I'm coaching my kids. I still take vacations sometimes on the weekends, but I can still run a business, run my personal business and sell houses and still motivate our agents. And that's the most rewarding thing about what we've got going on.
There's an old quote I love, and it's a Walt Disney quote, and it goes something like this. We don't make movies to make money, we make money to make more movies. And I sense that at Ansley, the money's a part of it, of course you guys are successful, but you plow so much of that back into helping your agents and then the people they serve live a better life.
Well, Mo, you nailed it. I mean, it's not about the money at all. It's about having an agent that's not working smartly. And what I mean by that is, might not have an assistant, might be working till 10 o'clock at night, getting up in the morning, not working out, not doing anything with their fitness. Their family life's not doing well because they're focused on this one thing, and that's making money and servicing their clients. But there's a way to do it differently. And we coach, we help, we mentor that agent to have a better life, and service more people. And that's the most rewarding thing about it. And that all goes back to the culture. That's the environment and the culture that we've created, and that's why we've been able to grow at such a extraordinary pace over the last 3 years.
Tell me a little bit. So we've talked a lot about the culture and the environment and the vibe, but what's behind that, I think, is a really efficient process too. A process for bringing new agents on board and making them more successful. A process for bringing new listings on board and selling those houses at a premium. Tell me a little bit about process and how you do that. Process is everything. You want to be efficient in the way you go about your business, and that also goes back to working smart. And we're able to have those processes in place
And those processes are thought through from our top producing agents, right? They know what to do. They know how to, turn in paperwork, do postcards, do this type of marketing, do this type of social media, prospecting, client management, all these type of things.
Right.
And we take the best practices of those and put them into our systems, and it has worked beautifully. And it makes you more efficient. It again creates that balance of life where you have a great balance with your family life and your work life.
Right. Well, I witnessed it as a client of Ansley Atlanta myself, where, boy, once we started, there was a whole team swarming us with a checklist and do this, and all the way down to here are the things once we sell and buy, these are the things to make it easy for you. These are the things you need to do to move from one house to the other.
Sure.
Well, you personally didn't have to do that. You've got this whole team of people that are arming all those agents with well thought out and efficient processes to help everybody win.
I try to be an expert in a certain areas, right? And then I've got other experts in other areas. And we've got a good team around us, even from our closing attorneys to our mortgage people.
It's like an ecosystem.
To our inspectors,
right.
to the people.
Bigger than just Ansley.
It is. Well, it's also part of the movement, part of the disruption that we're doing, because we've got a team of folks that can go in and help get the house ready to sell, right? That's washing the windows, that's doing landscaping, that's painting some rooms, that's doing all kinds of things. So we put our best foot forward in the sales process, and we've got that process down from start to finish.
And I think one thing that's interesting, and I've never asked you this question, but I have a guess. My guess is that because you focused on the high end, all the processes and technology and people that you've got are even better. There's a lot of agents that sort of focus on anything, and if they bring in a couple of high-end homes, they're excited. But the processes for lower-end homes aren't the same as those for higher-end homes. I mean, what did you say about that?
That's a great question, and we as a company do the same type of marketing, the same type of service on a $2 or $3 or $4 million house as we do on a $250,000 house.
So you started at the upper end,
we've
which
actually
is so interesting.
Yeah, we've actually we've got a process called Ansley First, where we teach and bring in mortgage originators and teach first-time home buyers in Atlanta. We have a process that does that all the way through the multi-million-dollar houses, and we treat every client the same, and that's the wonderful thing about it.
That's great. Well, tell me a bit more. I'm so curious about technology.
Yeah.
I know I have seen Ansley everywhere on social media. You almost can't avoid it because it's everywhere. How are you doing that?
Well, we've got a lot to say. We've got a phenomenal backdrop of houses that we've got listed. As you said, we've got signs all over Atlanta, and our social media platform showcases those houses. And we've got a really large following that wants to see our houses and see how we're doing things.
You have fans. I feel like there's a fan base. I feel like I'm a fan of a sports team. When I see your sign go up somewhere, I'm clapping.
We continue to build a really good squad, and man, it's fun to go to work every day.
Yeah.
It really is, and we've got a lot of great new initiatives on the technology side that will be continually coming out, because we got to stay ahead of everything as a company and as an industry.
But now I got to dig a little deeper into Children's Healthcare Atlanta, because they saved one of my daughters. And there's a long story there I'll skip over, but the organization means so much to me. I know you've got some kind of very tight relationship with Children's, and you give a ton of money. But how does it work? Tell me more.
Well, there's great places that people can give all over Atlanta. We picked Children's Healthcare of Atlanta because a lot of us have kids, and a lot of us has experienced wonderful stories that have gone through with CHOA, and we want to give back. And we give a portion of every sale as a company back to CHOA. And also the agents are all with it. We donate our time. Going to the hospital, we donate our money and our resources, and it's been a wonderful partnership, one that's really rewarding for all of us.
I love it. Okay, I've got a zinger of a question. It's not on our list. I just thought of it. But I just love being around you and asking how you do what you do. What advice do you have for somebody that's starting out as an agent somewhere? What would you tell them? What are the things you think makes an agent really successful?
You know, you got to find your uniqueness as an agent. You got to find your one thing that you can do better than anybody else. Is that prospecting? Is that giving a great listing presentation? What's your one thing that you can do better? And being able to be around other high producers in the office and trying to model your business around aspects of other agents in the office is a wonderful thing to do.
Well, thank you for letting me be a little bit a part of it, because I get energized every time I'm around you, and the entire team at Ansley Atlanta is fantastic. Thank you.